Good evening, everybody. I hope we're all having a wonderful time on this Tuesday afternoon. It is October 25th. We're going to be reviewing the market today. Um, we're going to have a lot to review, and I'm going to try to get it done in a quicker amount of time. Keep these videos short and simple if I can. So try to follow along with me. Today we had basically a short covering rally. Uh, and obviously some longs starting their positions. I got a little bit of a different setup going on here, but I'm still going to try to zoom this thing in so we can see all the action. Go ahead and get rid of this time and sales over here. But basically, we have a P shape. If you look at the profile here, you can kind of see it looks a little bit like a P, right? So P shape for short covering rally or for short covering in general. A B shape at B as in boy is usually for long liquidation and looks something kind of like this day over here. If I can, it won't let me scroll over, but you get the idea. Today we opened up inside of yesterday's range and value. We took back pretty much, or we opened up in the upper portion of this day. Yesterday we opened up right in there on the upper end of the day, upper end of the range, and pretty much just drove straight up. We took out the weekly balance high because yesterday all we did was stretch it by a few points. Today we took it out. Let me try to get rid of this real quick. Today we took it out by a good portion. Uh, moved to the upside, got the price probe that I was talking about getting if we got out of this balance and today's high at 38, 32.75. And then we pretty much grinded up all day long through B, C, D, E, and basically the remainder of the day. We had opportunity for single prints in D period. We had an opportunity for single prints in E period as well. F came and filled those. Um, so we had a little bit of a double distribution day. Started off early in the day, but got filled later in the day as H, G, H, and I kind of pulled back on us, which was great long opportunity. Um, we have a pretty good distance above us to get to that 12 wide pocket that I've been talking about from September 21st at 389 or 38.91.50. So we got up to that. We bumped our head on the 50-day moving average on our daily time frame. So we bumped our head there. Daily 50-day moving average is at 38.71.50. So we bumped our head on that. Today's high was 38.74.25. So we bumped our head on the 50-day moving average and rejected a little bit. This pretty big move right here in end period is due to earnings coming out. We had Google and Microsoft coming out after the bell, and that's kind of what this move right here entails. Um, but basically, we grinded up all day long. It was a slow, low volume grind up to the upside. Shorts were providing the bid all day long. Um, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, all the way up, right? We have a price probe, so where price spiked above M, so L to M's high, that's a price probe, price spike. I'll mark that here in a minute, and we go out with an afternoon pullback low, not a textbook one, but an afternoon pullback low. Um, Bulls started the day off pretty good. They had the open from A period. They got the overnight high early in the day. They took out the IB high in C period, or one time framing up pretty much all day until G period. Stopped the one time framing up. H period pulled back, was one time framing down, and then I period stopped the one time framing down to put it all back in balance, and then we resumed one time framing up in J period after we took out I's high, and then we continued to grind up higher. Um, the only time sellers had anything in their favor was when we started a one time frame down, and we were lower in pocket at the time. Uh, but There was an evolving POC all day long. Point of control was evolving all day long. I only took 6 trades today, one of them being a loser, so I had about an 83% win rate. Got out, made my money in G, H, and I, and got out. That was it. Pretty much, I don't even think I traded I. I think I only traded G and H, and I got out. So I was happy with what I made. Could I have made more? Yes, that's something I'm going to work on in the future. But let me go ahead and review my trades. So A, B, C, D, and E period, I was at work. Came into the market in F period. Had some technical difficulties getting my setup, everything set up, my charts brought up, um, and then didn't start trading until G period. I took a short in G period initially at 58, expecting us to roll over a little bit as we started to slow our extension to the upside because we weren't really getting too much more extension in F period, and then we came back in F. So and volume was getting pretty light at that point, so I was kind of expecting us to roll over. Um, I was short at 58. But I got out pretty early in the trade. I could have got out for like a 3 point gain at one point, and it came back in on me. Uh, and I was hovering around right around where I'd shorted at 58. I was comfortable with the trade for a minute, but I also had to keep in mind that we'd been grinding up all day long. We're one time framing up, we have value that's completely higher. So I have to keep those things in mind whenever I'm trying to short a market like this that can easily just grind and pop up to F's high. So I had my stop in ready to get stopped out just in case, but I hung in there. It rolled over. I took it off for a point gain. So quick $50. I can't complain. But however, it was a great short idea because ultimately we did roll over in G and in H. And I mean, I was short at 58, and the low here in H period was 44. Now, I'm not saying I would have caught that. I definitely would have taken profits at F's low at 53, so I might have caught a good 5 point gain out of that. But I took it off for a point. I'm not going to complain. It was a great opportunity there. However, I was waiting for an afternoon pullback low. I was waiting in the grass, as my mentor says, be the lion waiting in the grass to pounce on your prey. So that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to wait it out and see what the market would bring my way. So when G pulled back, uh, I took a long initially at the 144 on my 1 minute chart. That's the 144 simple moving average. I initially started along there, right at 53, and I was looking to add more on the pullback if we were still holding D signal prints below also at the time. So we had a small set in D period, a small set of single prints that was still holding right here from C, right in this range right in here. We had a very small set of single prints that was holding when G was pulling back, and I was trying to be patient as G was pulling back. Wanted to see what we did when we got into those single prints. We filled the single prints. I added one at 5150. Looking for us to rotate back up to the 9 EMA on the 5 minute chart. So my little 5 minute chart over here. I was looking for us to rotate back up into that. So I was getting long. Where was it? Right around in this area. Was looking for us to rotate back up into that 9 EMA, that blue line that you see kind of going down there. Wanted us to rotate back up into that, and that's where I decided to get out of the trade. I took one out at 55 and had my offer up at 57. We got up to 56.25 and then backed off. So I didn't get my offer on that one. Now, now that was late in the time frame of G period that I took that trade. Let's go back to my 30-minute chart here. So I took that trade late in G period on the pullback. Uh, we decided to roll over a little bit more. Let's see here. Yeah, H period opened up. We rotated a little bit lower in H period, and I decided to add at 47.50 added another 2 lot at 47.50, so now I'm long 3 of these things. The initial, I got out of the one that I took at 53 for a decent gain, at 55 for a 2 point gain, not a lot. Got out of that trade for a good win. Was still holding the one that I bought at 51.50 on the pullback in H period. I bought at 47.50, another 2 lot, and then as we rotated back up, I got out at 51. So um, that was the losing trade that I took. Was the was basically the initial trade at 51.50. I took off for a 2 tick loss, which isn't terrible. I'll take it. But the 2 lot that I added at 47.50, the rotation back up to 51, was a good trade. Now, however, there was no reason for me to get out of the trade. Absolutely no reason other than we're one time framing down. That was the only other thing that I had in the back of my mind. We could have gotten down to value low. I didn't know if I wanted to take the heat to go all the way back down to value low. So on the push up, I was happy to get out of my trade for a good gain. Um, I didn't like how we had POC lowered at the time either. Point of control had been lowered. I wasn't enjoying that. Instead of raising it, because at one point in time it was up here at H's high, and then we lowered it back down to G's low. So I wasn't too thrilled with that. I wanted to see us keep it up here. Actually, we had lowered it even lower at the time. It was right here at A's high, POC was, and it got rotated back up to the high. But at the time, POC was lower to A's low, and I didn't want it to, get down to D's low, which was as low as it could have gone, which means we could have, easily liquidated all the way. And, that's a lot of heat, and I didn't want to take that. So when we pushed up, I got out of the trade. However, I could have re-entered the trade later in I period on a pullback against H's low. I could have done that, but I decided to stop trading. Actually, I did take a few more trades. I took a few more scalps. I scalped a short after I got out of my long trade. I scalped a short at 52, took it out for 2 points, and then I scalped another long actually on the pullback further in H period at 45, and then on the push back up, I took it off for a 2 point scalp. So overall, I had a really good day. Those are the rest of my trades. Uh, but like I said, in I period, you could have bought the dip there in I period against, you could have bought here against H period's low, which was the afternoon pullback low, and you could have had your stop right there. So had it, ran out, ran that stop, you could have gotten out and then reassessed and looked to maybe take the long at value low. But instead, that was a good long opportunity there in I period. Good long opportunity in J period to pop eyes high, to stop the one time framing, uh, or to resume one time framing up, I mean. And then in L period, you could have taken a good trade against K's low, and had your stop below. But every dip was pretty much bought today. Every pullback was a buy. So that's what we look forward to. Let's go ahead and put in our destinations real quick. Let's start with the low of day. Let's get rid of this high day. That's our weekly balance. We're above it. And I'll go and look at the higher time frames here in a second. Let's make this easier. Boop, boop. All right. So low day 3807. Decent range though. I mean, volume was whack, tempo was whack, but overall, really good range. You can't complain about the range you're getting. But overall, the tempo was absolutely terrible. It was just a slow grind, eat your face off type of day. Watch paint dry. But I got in, made my money, and got out, so I was happy about it. All right, we got our afternoon pullback low, so that was our low day. We got our afternoon pullback low here at 25. So 38, 44, 25 is our afternoon pullback low. So if we pull back to that area tomorrow, you can look to see if there's any support, any buyers in that area, any bids laying there. If not, then we'll liquidate and rotate lower. Afternoon pullback low. And anybody watching this video, if you get confused by anything or want to know what more of an explanation on something, feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll do my best to explain better in the next video. All right, we got a price probe. So this is the first time you're hearing me speak about that. As far as our intraday goes, we haven't had a price probe in a while, but that just basically means we're price spiked. We have a price probe here at 38.6950, probed up to that 50-day moving average, and then it got rejected, and then late in the after hours we kind of pulled back. And then we have our high a day here. So tomorrow you want to look for acceptance over that price probe there. Should make this that. Tomorrow you want to look for acceptance over that price probe, or it gets rejected. If it gets rejected, then you're more than likely seeing a sign of buyers becoming weaker. I don't know why things are looking funky today. Higher day. All right, so now we have our destinations in. Let's go ahead and review the rest of them. So for the upside, as far as upside destinations go, you look for today's high day at 38.7425. See if we can continue the one-time frame it up on our daily time frame. If we get that, we should go get our 12 wide POC at 38.9150. From there, we should rotate to the high day at 39.2525. Downside, price probe 38.6950, and then our afternoon pullback low at 38.4425, and then our low of day. If we get our low of day tomorrow, 38.07, if we get that low of day, that would mean we take back all this that happened. We take back this buy tail. We come back into our weekly balance range, and then we would end up putting the daily into a balance. I'm not looking for that. I'm kind of expecting I'm not expecting too much, but right now, from what the market's telling us, we're going to continue to rotate higher. All right, let's look at our larger time frame here. Let's start with the monthly. Nope, that's not our monthly time frame. Monthly over the past 10. All right, so here's our monthly, right? You can call the monthly, you can either continue to call it down or you can call it down to balance. I'm going to continue to call it down until we take out a monthly high. I'm expecting maybe next month we take out this month's high and then we put it into a 3-month balance. You know, 41.37.75 high, and then our yearly low at 35.02. That's incorrect. What am I tripping on? Yeah, 35.02.25. So maybe we put the monthly into a 3-week balance or a 3-month balance. The weekly. Our weekly is now up. We're going to call the weekly up. Let's look at our weekly balance, right? Here's that balance. Our weekly balance is now up. Or our weekly has gone from balance to up, excuse me. We're one time framing up out of our balance. The next weekly high that you're looking to get is 39.27, which is that daily high that I was talking about earlier in our intraday. So we should go and get that. We need to find acceptance over a 50. So we're coming out of balance on our weekly basis, our weekly time frame. We're one time framing up. Let's go to our daily. And now look, we've come out of that daily balance. We've gotten our weekly balance high. And now we're testing our 50-day moving average. Next step for the bulls is to continue this one time framing up by taking out tomorrow's high, getting acceptance over the 50-day moving average, and then going and testing the top of our trend line here and getting that high a day from September 21st at 39.27. So just keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. The market's trying to make a turn for things. If we get over 50, you know, we'll have to see if we get acceptance. It's a good possibility, but just remember we need to find acceptance over it. One day doesn't make a market. This could be just a bear market rally. We are putting in a lower high and this thing rolls over uh, for the worse, because today we had Microsoft and Google earnings. Tomorrow we got more earnings coming out. A lot of the big tech guys are coming out this week, so maybe that has a lot of effect on it. But right now, what we're trying to do on the daily and weekly time frame is continue up to the upside. Uh, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you wouldn't mind, leave a like and comment below. Uh, Help me try to better these videos as I'm trying to better myself by reviewing my trades and what the market's doing to kind of keep it in my head, what the possibilities are. Uh, and with all that being said, we'll catch you in the next one. Have a good night.